Good morning, welcome back to my daily Tour Divide updates. We're on day 8 now, so let's check out track leaders and see what's going on. And Victor's continuing his charge down the divide. It was hard to envisage conditions being much better than they were for Robin last year, but it seems that it's been absolutely perfect this year on the Tour Divide, and that coupled with Victor obviously is incredibly fast. And what a combination. Got to Del Norte last night. I never saw that coming, to be honest. I've kind of lost track of what of what we can kind of expect, really. It's kind of my whole pacing that we've been used to over the past years is out the window. So yeah, Robin made Del Norte. Looks like he's been there a couple of hours now. 3 hours ago. So got there at 10 o'clock. That's just incredible pace. Absolutely incredible. So this unbelievable pace from Victor, he's carrying it on. It doesn't seem to be fading. Obviously, he'll be feeling it a little bit by now, but still going well. He's got the highest point of the whole route coming up now. So Indiana Pass, and it's kind of, I won't say it's all downhill after there, but it's certainly a good psychological feeling getting across there. Whether we'll see where he gets to tonight. They've got this new section of the Colorado Divide Trail, which is a bit more single track than it used to be. So we'll check that on Riber GPS in a minute. I suspect he'll be aiming for Abiquiu. It's hard to, he could probably get further, to be honest. So I rode 2019. I started about 1 in the morning, so probably about the local time now, maybe a bit later, 1:30, 2 in the morning. I got to Abiquiu about the same time, about 1 in the morning again. It was a big day out. Victor's going way faster. So I suspect he might do similar if he's looking to stay in accommodation. But then you do never know. You know, he might even be able to push on to Cuba. The gap, it's quite a big gap. But we'll see. You can't put anything past Victor at the moment. And then he'll be flying through the desert between Cuba and Grants with his setup, his speed, like the little aero position he's got, the skin suit, the faster gravel bike. I expect he'll just be motoring through that section as well. So that's kind of Victor, and is absolutely flying. You can see he's almost got, not quite, but almost half of Colorado between him and Lawrence. So Lawrence is in second. At the moment, we've got this kind of to and fro between Angus and Lawrence. So Angus got to Brush Mountain Lodge last night while Lawrence was there. Looks like the same thing's happening now. Angus is on a slightly delayed schedule, so he should get to Silverthorne tonight. I suspect he's going to push to Silverthorne. Looks like an hour or so out, I suspect. Or maybe even stop now. He's not moving there. Maybe he's got too much for him now. They're kind of leapfrogging. Lawrence kind of was ahead and Angus caught him, and then Lawrence got ahead again. But Lawrence made Silverthorne. He's still riding strong. He did make a bit of an error though. So he missed the. I think he had an old track. So I'll show you on Riber GPS in a second. But it looks like basically if we go, I've got his direct track up after Brush Mountain Lodge. There's now a different way into Steamboat Springs. So before, you can see Lawrence went down here and then used to hit the highway and ride the road down into Steamboat. But now there's more of a kind of circuitous off-road route. And it looks like Lawrence missed it. He must have had the old file. I'm sure he must have had like the 2024 file that he used before. Rather than the updated one, which is it's a bit of a silly error. We've got a voice note from him in a while. It looks like he realised, probably lost an hour and a half, I'd have thought, hour and a half, but came back. Still, it's not really cost him anything in the grand scheme of things, but I'd imagine it was quite frustrating, being an hour behind. Lawrence still riding well, and it's about 50, and it's 10 miles ahead of Angus at the moment, which doesn't mean too much at the moment, but as I said, I think Lawrence is in reality has a few hours. And then we've got a big gap back. So we heard from David yesterday. It sounds like he has scratched now. There's a little message I'll play out later on his Instagram. Xavier seems to have dropped Mikko, and yeah, not sure if there's kind of been issues there, or whether Mikko's just stopped a bit earlier and Xavier's pushing on. And then we've got this kind of group back in Steamboat. So Megan, Dries van der Klei, and Felix Laberge, who's still really pushing on that single speed. I should probably just put the historical dots on as well, just so we can see where they are. And they've kind of dropped off the Mike Hall's pace there, but Megan's still way ahead of the women's records. Felix still way ahead of the single speed outright record. So it looks like it's going to be a record-breaking year. And then we've got, some pretty big gaps further back. So Yossi Barak, he's kind of in no man's land. And then that's the pace of those other records. So Austin Killips, Andrew Onama's time from last year, which was super fast. That's kind of comes in the same bracket as Robin. Obviously single speed, that it wasn't official record year. And then Chris Plesko's 2016 single speed record. So yeah, big gaps sort of from that front group, the top 10 or so, all the way back. And it's I think it's this high pace kind of means the field really does spread out, and it's kind of, there's the difference in speed is starting to show, sort of compared to the mid pack from the front. So that's where we're at, kind of at the front. Before I go any further, obviously, by now, Redshift sponsoring all my coverage of the Tour Divide, and they sponsor my podcast as well. So I'm very grateful for that. They help me do what I do. I've touched on the top shelf flat bars, which are their newest bar. They do have a drop bar version of that as well. But I've got these the kitchen sink bars on my gravel bikes, and so I use there's a low flare and a high flare version, as in the kind of the flare of the drop. So I tend to go for the high flare one, and there's a loop or not. The loop's pretty good actually. I use it on my it's my Mason ISO. It's actually the bike I race Tour Divide on, so it kind of gives you a bit more of options on hand positions, kind of like a semi-aero bar without the extra weight, and works pretty well for me. And you get loads of mounts and stuff and bags that go on the front and really cool stuff like that. So yeah, check out Redshift. There's a discount code as always, and thanks to those guys for the support. And Enduro bearings, obviously I've been banging on about bearings for a week now, but they've also got really excellent tools, really high quality tools as well. So if you're on a bike shop or you're keen on tools, bit of a tool geek, then check out the Enduro stuff. I've got the bearing presses and stuff, really, really high quality stuff, and all the bottom bracket tools, basically everything you need to do bearings, whether it's pressing into full suspension frames, hubs, whatever it is. They've pretty much got you covered. Really high quality stuff, as I said, and drifts, everything. Check out Enduro bearings and their tool sets if you want to kit out your workshop. So again, thank you to Enduro bearings. And a quick note, thanks to everyone who's ordered caps and zines. I've pretty much got up to date and put everything out in the post. I'm running out of the coloured caps. I've only got like 5 or 6 left. So if you want a coloured cap, get in there quick. Got loads of zines and a fair few black caps as well. So thanks to everyone for the support on there. Helps me do what I do, and I really appreciate it. So let's get back to the route. Over to Ryber GPS and Firewatch, and obviously we talk about, or I talk about, Robin's record from last year, which was not an official record because there was a fire diversion. And I guess the question now is, like, Victor's well on to set the record for the Tour Divide. I think the only thing that can really stop him is fires and fire diversion, at least for making it official. So I've had a look. I mean, I've heard there is a fire. So I normally use this is like the NASA fire chart. I can't see anything on here, but I hear, like if you read the bikepacking.com report, apparently there is a fire that's fairly close. Obviously, maybe it's not big enough to kind of pick up on this at the moment, or maybe it's not up to date yet. As it stands, there are no fire diversions. However, there is going to be I think it's a fire down here somewhere. So yeah, we need to keep an eye on that just to see what what's going on with Victor up front and whether it affects the rest of the field. So yeah, it'll be in here. I think it's before Albuquerque. I think it's in this section somewhere. That there sounds like around here in the Carson National Forest. Sounds like there's a fire somewhere around here which could potentially encroach on the race route. Let's hope it doesn't, because yeah, obviously Victor's on a flyer. So that's something to look out for. I think Victor might end up there tonight. As I said earlier, I suspect he'll get into Albuquerque, which is, well, at least Albuquerque, which is down here. I mean, I've done that myself, and Victor's way faster than I am. So you can see here, there might be a bit of a tricky resupply. So there's a gas station there. I think it shuts. I can't remember exactly what time it shuts, but no later than 10, I don't think. And it doesn't open till the morning. So when I did it, I sort of got in about 1:30. It was a big old day. And then I had to wait till the gas station opened in the morning. It did mean I got like a 5-hour sleep, which was nice. So yeah, something for Victor to think about there, whether he'll get to that gas station before closing or not, because I mean, he's not really got much. He's in Del Norte at the moment, which is, where are we? We'll be going over Indiana. Del Norte here. I hope he's got a massive resupply. There's Skyline Lodge in here somewhere. I'm sure there might even be photos somewhere. So incidentally, this is Indiana Pass. One of the highest point, well no, it's the highest point, a little under 4,000 meters. Pretty cool. When I was up there, I got to the peak at dawn, so I left really, really early, and there was a couple of snow drifts, but yeah, that was pretty special. And then I got down to Skyline Lodge for breakfast. It's one of those classic false flat climbs, or not false summit climbs. You get over the top, you think you're over the top, you drop down a bit, and then it drags up again. So I think, yeah, this probably is where the second drag is. So that's what Victor's got to start with. There's the resupply and Skyline, and then there's the newer section on the Continental Divide Trail. So you can see here, I've put my heat map layer on. You just go on here and I've got my sort of personal activities. This was 2019, so this is the older route. Now it's been updated onto this section of the Continental Divide Trail. Sounds like, I mean, talking to Justinas on the podcast the other day, I've not ridden this section myself. Apparently it's good single track. You can see here there's some good single track, but a little bit of hiker bike at times. Victor's on that gravel or that drop bar setup, which may slow him a little bit compared to a mountain bike. But I've been saying that to be honest, all the coverage, and nothing's happened yet. So there's that section there. And then this is the section here. We need to just keep an eye on for fires if the bikepacking.com reports a kind of anything to go by. Hopefully nothing develops there, but resupply isn't great. There is actually kind of a dot watcher, or there used to be, that had a bit of a shack out the front of their house where they had a few bits and pieces. Not sure if that's still there or not, but this is one of those sort of sections which can be tricky. There's not much water either, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. And then Albuquerque is going to be sort of the next big resupply. Whether he gets there or not, I'm not sure. And then it's a big climb up here. I always forget the name of this climb, actually. Maybe someone can kind of remind me in the comments, but it's a long old climb. You can see just on the elevation here, there's a big drop down to Albuquerque and then a long climb up. That will be a big challenge. Whether he gets over there to Cuba or not, who knows? I mean, I wouldn't put it past him at the moment, but we shall see. So that's that. And I think that's what Victor's going to be kind of dealing with. Of course, if he does push through and does a late night, even if he gets it at 2 or 3 in the morning, Cuba's got loads of motels and stuff, and then the next day is relatively easy. A lot of tarmac. You can see on the chart here, it's probably one of the biggest sections of tarmac. The solid red on the elevation chart here, that shows tarmac, and like the kind of checkered striped bit is off road. So it'll be a little bit easier. So we'll see what happens. That's what I think is going to happen with Victor. We're on Firewatch. We'll find out. I think if he gets through there, he might be good for the record, but it is a Tour Divide and you do never know. So next up, I've got a couple of voice notes. We'll start with Lawrence. Actually, I said we'd hear what happened with his little error. Got a couple of messages from Lawrence the last couple of days, which I've really enjoyed listening to. So thanks, Lawrence. I think he listens to the podcast version of this, and let's see how he cocked it up. So this is Lawrence on his little let's say diversion yesterday.
Josh, it's LTD. Pretty frustrated. Apparently, I went off track for 25k, so it was more than an hour. Totally blame myself, you know. I gave someone the responsibility to split up the route if something went wrong. Nightmare, you know. Still, the legs are actually pretty good today. I was going, man. But instead of only 15k to go to steamboat, it's 40. That's pretty shitty. Again, a rookie mistake. Was more than an hour. On my way to Silverthorne. Bye-bye.
So yeah, so that's Lawrence, and yeah, I guess mistakes can happen, and you know, well, I'm currently in the depth of planning a transcontinental race route at home, which is it's a complete headache, you know, compared to Tour Divide, and yeah, you got to prepare the route and stuff, and splitting the route files is an important part of it, you know, and if not more important than the actual ride, because once you're out there, you know, your head's not in it. So yeah, a bit of a silly mistake for Lawrence there, but these things happen, and at the end of the day, it didn't really cost him too much in the grand scheme of things. He didn't lose any position, maybe lost an hour or about 2 at maximum. So yeah, so that was Lawrence. Also got a nice update from Megan. She sent a message from Brush Mountain Lodge, which is kind of one of the like the iconic places on the route, and somewhere that everyone wants to get to. So here's Megan.
Tour Divide update, day 8. I'm at Brush Mountain Lodge. I started this morning in the basin. I've done 200K. It's been hot and beautiful, and yeah, here we are. There's not many other folks around, so I've got Kirsten's full attention. She's made me ham and cheese sandwiches and coffee and all sorts of delicious things. I took a shower. My clothes got washed. I washed the bike. About to head off over Sand Pass to Steamboat Springs, and I'm just really excited. I guess we'll find out if my altitude training paid off, because we're getting into the higher climbs. I have some congestion, I think, from all the dust and stuff in the air. But yeah, body's holding together pretty good for second half of the race.
So that was Megan. Obviously stopped at Brush Mountain Lodge, and Kirsten is one of the heroes of the Tour Divide. And the Brush Mountain Lodge is probably one of the places riders look forward to getting to the most. Good food, a bed to sleep in, like you can get your washing done and dried. It's a real kind of like paradise on the route. And I think most people, when they get there and have a good refresh, it just gives them a lot of energy going into Colorado and the big climbs. And as Megan said, she's been really preparing well. I think she was up in Colorado in Leadville, which is like almost, well, it's over 3,000 meters, I think, just kind of adapting to the altitude. So that should pay off, and she's sounding really good. You know, I think probably that time at altitude has helped her all the way along, because you're not at like high altitude early on, but you're going up and down, and you know, kind of it does help your recovery and stuff. So yeah, Megan's she's looking great and riding strong. So yeah, look forward to seeing the rest of the race with Megan. And I thought I'd finish today just a couple of Instagram stories. So found Felix obviously riding the leading single speed at the moment, and yeah, so just some shots. That's the basin. You see quite a lot of these in the basin. Obviously, it's a lot of oil in the States, and this is one of their pumping stations. And it looks like he had a nice little bivvy out in the basin. It's probably a pretty cool place to sleep, actually, if it's dry. And that's what you get for miles and miles on end. Miles of nothingness, maybe wind. And I think anyone who's done the Tour Divide will recognise this hot dog machine. As soon as I saw this photo, I didn't even need to kind of know that it was in the basin to know this is the one. I think it's at Love's. Is it Love's, the gas station at Wamsutter? But anyway, I've definitely raided this hot dog machine before, and I think many people who have done the Tour Divide have also raided it. So yeah, it looks like he had hot dogs for lunch. So that's Felix. And then I just thought finish up with David Chan. Obviously, his dots disappeared from the map today. It was really unfortunate he had to scratch due to that knee injury. But yeah, I kind of feel for him. So let's just hear his last little roundup.
Hello. Yeah, this will be my last Tour Divide update, because as you probably saw, My dot is now officially gone from the map. I messaged track leader this morning that I'm gonna scratch, that I want my dot removed. So yeah, officially out. I bought conditioner too, so I finally washed my hair. I guess that's my way of saying I'm out. Yeah, I like put up my leg all day yesterday and iced it. And it looked a little bit better this morning, but still far from good, far from how a healthy knee should look like. And now you can also see a bruise forming from where the impact was on my knee, and where it looks like it might have been bleeding somewhere inside under the skin. So yeah, I'm gonna make a doctor's appointment when I get home so we can look inside and see what's going on. And then also, as I took a shower now and I took off my socks and my bibs, I look like a sausage because it seems like my whole leg is kind of swollen now, so it kind of moved from the knee all over my leg. So yeah, I don't know, something just doesn't seem quite right, and I haven't had a fever, but sometimes I like have random chills. So maybe I'll go back to urgent care tomorrow before I go home, just to make sure I don't end up with an infection or something. That would kind of suck. But yeah, I think I'm okay with my decision to let this one go. I mean, generally speaking, generally speaking, I think it's good to like finish things and push through things that are hard if you can, and wrap up what you started. But I think this one is not one of those times.
So that was David. I won't play the full thing, but yeah, you can go find that if you want to see the rest of it. But yeah, kind of, it sucks. I do really feel for him. But like he says, you know, it's sometimes it's worth pushing through, but other times it's just not worth it. And you know, he's in Pinedale, so halfway, that's a lot of distance with a knee that's not 100%. And yeah, the divide's going to be there again. I'm sure we'll see him back, and yeah, let's hope so. So yeah, so that's it for today's update. Thanks again for watching, and I guess tomorrow we'll be back and yeah, see how far Victor's got tomorrow. So catch you then.